stupid, stupid, and stupid!
You're so stupid!
Hello, and welcome to Government is Fucking Stupid. On this channel, I like to talk about the most stupid and unnecessary institution in the entire history of humankind, and that is, of course, government. And today I want to talk about perhaps the most stupid and unnecessary thing any government has ever done, in any of our lifetimes anyway, and that is, of course, the war U.S. President Donald Trump declared on Iran and then promptly lost. A loss that's still ongoing. Never mind just talk about how it's actually over, because Israel's not going to withdraw from Lebanon, so watch how that plays out. And that loss is still costing us taxpayers here in the United States and the world in general just untold amounts of money. Not that Trump cares at all. I mean, he's made that plainly evident. But wait, you say. Trump has said the U.S. military has totally destroyed the Iranian military and killed the supreme leader. How can the USA have lost the war? Well, this particular war isn't a team deathmatch scenario from Call of Duty where the winning side is just the one that kills the most people or breaks the most of the other side's stuff. No, if that was the case, then Israel would have long ago won the war if you count civilians killed. I mean, which someone should. I mean, hell knows Israel and Trump's Department of War aren't. But anyway, no, this war was more akin to like Total Warhammer 3, where it doesn't really matter how many battles you win or what else you do. Is if you don't satisfy your faction's winning conditions, you don't win the war or the game. And so in this case, Trump set victory conditions for the Iran war. The first was regime change. The second was the confirmed destruction and elimination of Iran's uranium enrichment program and any attempts to build a nuclear weapon. And the third victory condition was the elimination of any Iranian support for their various proxy militias around the region, the Houthis, Hezbollah, etc. The Iranian regime, as in the Islamic Revolution, still rules Iran. So the USA and Israel did tag team on murdering the Ayatollah Khomeini at the very outset of the war, and he was just promptly replaced by a younger, more radically Islamic Ayatollah Khomeini. And given that the younger Ayatollah Khomeini has been badly injured or perhaps even disfigured by those airstrikes, he's probably developed a sore attitude towards the United States and the West as a whole. So the objective of regime change then can safely be said to not have been accomplished. What's really happened is a kind of just an acceleration of regime succession. The original Ayatollah was old as hell anyway and wasn't that much longer for this world, so he was likely to pass the reins on to his successor, his kid anyway, and that's what happened. So we just kind of hastened that along, but it's not an improvement of the situation. It certainly isn't a change because meet the new boss, same as the old boss. So that one, we failed. The United States failed that win condition that they set. Meanwhile, airstrikes on Iranian nuclear sites have reportedly buried the access points to the subterranean facilities that house most of Iran's highly enriched uranium and the centrifuges and other equipment used to enrich it. Now, collapsing tunnel entrances isn't the same as destroying the stuff inside, or rendering it irrecoverably useless even. So, the uranium is still there, and the idea that you're going to secure a promise from any government that matters, that they're just not going to build a nuclear weapon, isn't concrete. It doesn't solve the win condition. They've always promised not to build a nuclear weapon. Iran has. The former supreme leader issued a fatwa against the nuclear bomb, forbidding it being built within Iran. So they already did that in the strongest terms possible. I mean, they invoked religion and everything. And for some reason, nobody believes them. But we're supposed to believe now that they promised they're not going to build a nuclear weapon. As for the proxies, that was the third victory condition, right? We had the United States, to win the war, had to change the Iranian regime, had to destroy its nuclear enrichment program and its ability to deliver weapons, which would be ballistic missiles, not so much drones. It'd be hard to put a nuclear weapon on a drone. ballistic missile, though, different story. Um, well, as for the proxies, well, Israel just can't stop itself shooting at anything it thinks is Hezbollah shaped anywhere inside Lebanon, so that proxy group must still be around. How about them Houthis? Oh. Yeah, they're there. I think they're still there. How about them Iranian proxies operating in Iraq? Okay, so I mean, okay, either those proxies are still around, or the Israelis are just shooting random Iraqis for giggles, and it's almost impossible to tell with the IDF. So I mean, who knows? But probably Iranian proxies in Iraq still a thing. At any rate, though, I mean, it's painfully obvious that Iran's proxies are still there, and they're still operating. And it's not likely they're operating without support from their longtime benefactor, Iran. And the Trump regime, again, now, they say they haven't, but we'll see, has agreed to unfreeze more than $20 billion in assets belonging to Iran. So I would look for those proxies to be getting a fresh infusion of cash and still operating. So obviously then the victory condition of eliminating those proxies has just not been met. So again, that's 3 out of 3 victory conditions that Trump said at the beginning of the war that have not been met now that we're at what he is claiming is the end of the war. So by any metric, the war is a failure. The United States lost. Trump lost. And, I mean, now, to be sure, the American service members sent into this asinine war conducted themselves brilliantly, as traditionally is the case. I mean, the fact they were sent into harm's way, or left in what was predictably going to be harm's way once Trump decided to start a shooting war, for beyond stupid reasons, just isn't their fault. They were doing their jobs, and they did, as best as they could. I mean, it's hard to fight a war. I mean, I would not want to be in the position of having to fight a war where your military objectives are kind of murky because the political objectives are untenable. So it's not their fault. It's just they should have never been sent there. I mean, American troops performing well in what's a losing war is bad enough, but when you factor in the price tag for this thing, the cost of Trump's just abject stupidity is truly cataclysmic. I mean, as of June 16th, the kind of easy to tally cost of the war in terms of the equipment lost, munitions spent, and all that already sits at an eye-watering $29 billion, okay? Now, when the obvious knock-on effects of the war, like economic devastation, the runaway inflation, the cost of replacing those munitions, and other factors are added in, conflict researchers estimate that the true cost to U.S. taxpayers alone has already exceeded $100 billion and could easily reach $1 trillion. $1 trillion. That's the one with the T and 12 fucking zeros, gang. $1 trillion bucks. Gone. Just $1 trillion set ablaze to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, which was wide open before Trump's little adventure in the Middle East began, and $1 billion bucks to speed up the succession of Iran's supreme leadership. Okay, we just basically watched time happen a little quicker for a whole bunch of money, and then we're also going to force Iran to dig up their own uranium and centrifuges before they can use them again, which will slow them down, but that's not going to stop their nuclear program should they decide to pursue it. And again, we've already seen there's been no real effect on Iran's proxy networks, and Iran's going to get some money out of this. Whether the U.S. unfreezes the assets that it holds, some of Iran's Gulf neighbors have indicated that they're willing to. So Iran's going to get some money unfrozen. And if you think that money, some of that's not going to end up back in the hands of the Houthis and Hezbollah, I've got some awesome oceanfront real estate here in Ohio that you need to check out. So, again, the United States and Israel set out to do 3 things by this war, and they didn't accomplish any of them. That's a loss by any measure. And it's not just a loss, it's a really fucking stupid one. Only a government could do something this fucking stupid. And that's what governments do. Anyway, thanks for sticking it out this long. I'll see you on the next one. And in the meantime, Don't be stupid.